sun had barely risen over the quiet streets of Maplewood when Jason Harper, a 38-year-old single dad, adjusted his worn leather jacket and glanced at his reflection in the cafe window. To anyone passing by, he looked like an ordinary man trying to get through the day, a man whose pockets were just as empty as his worn shoes suggested. But behind those tired, brown eyes lay the fortune of a lifetime, millions stashed away in bank accounts, properties across the city, and a luxurious penthouse he would return to every night. Yet, here he was, pretending to be broke, sitting nervously at a table for a blind date, because Jason had learned the hard way that love could never come for him if it came with the baggage of wealth. Before we dive deeper into his story, if you believe in kindness and second chances, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Grandma's book. This story will remind you why genuine hearts matter more than anything money can buy. Jason had tried countless blind dates over the past few years. Every woman had been charmed by his wit, his quiet vulnerability, but the moment money entered the conversation, whether it was his luxury car, his sprawling house, or even a simple expensive gift, they disappeared, replaced by polite lies and excuses. He wasn't looking for gold diggers. He was looking for someone who would love him for who he was, for the father he had become, for the laughter and tears he carried in his soul. Yet the fear of being alone still haunted him, even as he sipped his cheap coffee, trying to seem ordinary. That morning, the cafe was bathed in soft golden light. Outside, the city streets were beginning to stir with the bustle of the day, but inside, it was quiet, almost intimate. Jason's blind date had yet to arrive, and his nerves twisted like knots in his stomach. He wasn't expecting anything different from the last dozen tries. That was, until the door swung open and a young waitress approached him. Her name tag read Ella Monroe, and her warm smile lit up the room. She was 28, with soft caramel skin, dark brown hair pulled into a loose ponytail, and dressed in a simple navy uniform that didn't hint at glamour, but radiated genuine charm. "Good morning," she said, her voice melodic and kind. "Are you waiting for someone?" Jason's lips curved into a small, polite smile. "Yes," he replied softly, careful not to reveal too much. "First time meeting her, I guess." He tried to keep the conversation light, but every word was calculated, every glance cautious. Ella, however, had an unhurried presence, a way of listening that made people feel like they truly mattered. As she refilled his coffee, she asked, "So, what do you do?" And Jason panicked. For a moment, the truth threatened to slip out, the luxury and wealth he hid so carefully ready to betray him. I forget," he said awkwardly, trying to play it off with a chuckle. Ella smiled gently. "Hey, it's okay," she said. That simple forgiveness, that small human kindness, struck Jason more than he expected. There was no judgment in her eyes, no curiosity about wealth or status, just a quiet warmth that made him feel seen. For the first time in years, he didn't feel the weight of deception pressing down on him. Over the next hour, the cafe seemed to shrink around them. Jason spoke carefully, telling half-truths about his life, but Ella laughed at his jokes, shared stories of her dreams to one day open her own bakery, and asked questions that made him reflect on what mattered most. There were no pretenses, no judgments, just two people connecting over shared human experience, the beauty of a sunrise, the nervous thrill of new possibilities, the fleeting joy in a cup of coffee. For Jason, the struggle wasn't only in hiding his wealth, it was in balancing his life as a devoted father to his 10-year-old daughter, Lily, who waited for him in the penthouse with homework and bedtime stories. Every date he went on felt like a test, a gamble between love and loneliness, and now, for the first time, he sensed that gamble might actually be worth it. Ella's simple kindness wasn't just comforting, it was transformative. As days turned into weeks, Jason continued his careful charade, meeting Ella at the cafe whenever he could. Each meeting peeled away layers of his guarded heart. He laughed more freely, shared glimpses of his fears and regrets, and found solace in the fact that she never pressed for the truth, never seemed interested in what he owned. It wasn't wealth that had drawn him to her, it was authenticity, a rare treasure in a world obsessed with status and possessions. One rainy afternoon, as the city streets glistened under the downpour, Jason finally realized the truth. He had been pretending to be someone he wasn't for too long, but Ella had seen through every mask without him even knowing. She had fallen in love not with the millionaire or the facade, but with the man who cared deeply, who had survived loss, who loved fiercely. And in that realization, Jason understood the power of patience, honesty, and human kindness. By the time he walked her to her car that evening, he felt a quiet courage he hadn't known he possessed. The truth could wait, but his heart could no longer. He wanted to be seen, really seen, and he had found the first person who might just do that. As they said goodbye, he whispered, "Thank you for being you." And she smiled, the kind of smile that promises hope and second chances. If this story touched your heart, please engage with the video, like, comment, and share your thoughts with us. And before we close, let's take a moment to honor every act of genuine kindness we've ever received. Sometimes it changes lives in ways we'll never forget. Jason Harper's journey reminds us all that love isn't about wealth, status, or perfection. It's about heart, courage, and finding someone who sees the real you. And sometimes, the most unexpected people, like a humble waitress with a warm smile, can show us the truest kind of love.